What's up, guys? Welcome back to episode 5 of my Texas Rangers Start Today series. As always, we're going to get started with messages. We're here on June 23rd now, so we simulated a little bit further. We're not quite to the juicy part of the middle of the year, but we're getting there. We're going to get there this episode, but let's get right into the messages. Starting with a little bit of a funny one. The Angels and the Diamondbacks make a trade. Rojas for Rojas. I just thought that was funny. Nothing really important there. Next, we get into an interesting trade that I made. It was a mistake, actually. I meant to hit clear trade, and I hit complete trade. So it's sort of a two-parter here with this other message. So let's start with the original one. We trade away a no-name prospect. He's not going to be anything for Wandy Peralta, Devi Garcia, and $1 million in cash. Obviously, that's highway robbery. There's no way that's ever going to happen, and that's why I didn't want to do the trade. But then it turned out that I accidentally pressed the button, and I couldn't figure out how to undo it, really. So I just decided we're going to go ahead and give them a few guys. They're not good guys either. Unfortunately, I didn't make it that fair still. But we gave them Austin Hedges and John King, who's been doing good for them. It looks like he's pitched in 12 innings, and he has a 1.5 ERA, so good for them. And then Austin Hedges has also been pretty good for them. It looks like 3.33 average. Obviously, it's only been in a few games. He already has 2 home runs, the same amount of home runs he had for us in 23 games. He hit in 7, so clearly they've been using them. So I guess it was a little bit more fair, especially when you look at how Devi Garcia's performed. He's in AAA for us right now because he had a 16.7 ERA in 7 innings, which isn't good. Wandy's been really good, actually, 3.18 in 6 games. He's been really good as a lefty specialist for us, really. So that's that deal. Overall, it was basically Austin Hedges and John King for Devi Garcia, Wandy Peralta, and $1 million in cash. It's not a fair deal, but we got some players, which is exciting. Next, we go to Jose Barrios, signs a big extension with Toronto, $58 million over 3 years. Next, we have one of our players getting extended. We extend Billy Hamilton, 3-year deal worth $1.5 million per year, with the last 2 years being team options. So really, it's just a 1-year deal right now. And then we can just keep bringing him back until we decide he's no longer a part of this team. I wanted to extend him because he has unbelievable stealing ability. He can play in the outfield, and he's actually not having a bad year. 267 average isn't awful. He gets on base a good bit of the time. When he gets on base, he can steal all the bases. So that's really good for us to have him in scoring position, especially with how little runs we produce. It's good for him to be able to get into the scoring positions that we need him to be. Next, we have the biggest trade I made, and this sort of came with a comment that I saw saying that we should trade for Robbie Ray. Unfortunately, I just don't think that's super realistic. None of this is obviously that realistic, but Robbie Ray, he's on a team that's really competing. He's having an amazing year, and I just don't think we're in a position to give up prospects right now for a guy like that, and I don't really want to give up, a Carlos Correa or a Stanton or anybody of that caliber right now. So I decided to go after a different guy. It's not realistic, really, but it worked. We go ahead and get Miles Mikolas. He has a really good ERA right now with the Cardinals, and then we brought him in, and he's done really good for us too. 12 innings, a 3 ERA. He has 13 strikeouts in those 12 innings. He's been really, really good for St. Louis, and then he's also been really good for us, and I think he's just a solid piece, which is what I like. He did have a big contract, though. We did get them to pay for a large chunk of it, but that's sort of why I think it may be realistic for them to trade him, even though they do end up eating a lot of it. They also get a really good bat in Sano, who hasn't been good this year, but hopefully he can bounce back for them, I guess. He has a big option, so I was fine with getting rid of him, even though we brought him in this year. I just didn't feel like we needed him anymore. I wanted to go a little bit younger since we're not performing good. It's still a rebuilding year, obviously. So I just wanted to get some younger guys in. And then also Dane Dunning just wasn't good for us. He looks like he's been good for them, though. So good for him, I guess. I'm not too worried about getting rid of either of these guys. I like what we have now, especially with Miles here. He's going to be really good. Next, we have another trade. We trade Adam Duvall for Evan White, who's going to fill in at first base for us at least for the rest of this year. We do have a big first base prospect, so that could be our solution next year. But for now, he's here. He's really good on defense, which I like. And we actually got them to pay for, I believe, 50% of his contract. Yeah, 50% So even if we keep him the entire time, the most we're going to pay is $5.5 million, which I am perfectly fine with. And then especially the next 2-3 years, we're not paying him hardly anything. He's not going to be a big piece for us. I mean, this year in the 6 games, he has a 167 average. I don't expect too much from him except to be good on defense. Hopefully he does that. Next, we have James Paxton signing 25 or almost 26 million for a 1-year deal with the Mets. That's crazy money for him. Wow. Nelson Cruz retires, or he's going to retire at the end of the year, which is, not too surprising, but it's sad to see him go, I guess. Then we have our last trade that I've made. Spencer Patton for Nick Mears, who is a prospect. He looks pretty good. He's 25 right now. He's almost 26. Really just average everywhere on his pitching ratings. Same with his pitches right here. There's nothing that really stands out except for this slider that's maybe going to be, really good for him, hopefully. He throws hard. He's just sitting in the minors right now. I'm not sure if he's going to get the call-up this year, but I'm excited. Spencer Patton wasn't good for us. I didn't really want to keep him in the minors for us the entire year and then him leave or him just not get used. I just feel like that's a waste. We might as well just trade him away for something. And then last, I just wanted to show you guys this real fast. We are 30th in the power rankings, which just proves that we are the worst team in baseball. We can take a look at the standings real fast. And it is pretty much official that we're in a 3-way tie right now, pretty much with the Detroit Tigers and the Cubs. The Astros recently passed us in a series with them. I think we split the series, so they got right back up into this 4th place right here that we're really fighting for, unfortunately. And then the last move that I made was really recent. He hasn't even pitched for us yet. Christopher Sanchez, we claimed him off of waivers. He looks decent. He's still only 25. He's actually younger than the prospect we just got, I'm pretty sure. And he looks pretty good. He can, eat some innings, it looks like. So hopefully he can perform for us. And then if you look down here for Philadelphia this year, 24 games, 20 and 2/3 innings. He has a 2.18 ERA. His FIP isn't even that high, especially when you compare it to our bullpen now. It's definitely not high. So I think he could be something good for us. Strikes out a decent amount of batters. So I'm hoping he can be the second long relief for us because our pitching really we need more long relief guys. But let's just go into some stats real fast. Our starting's been a lot better, especially with Miles and Tyler being really solid veterans for us that have been having good years. Blake Snell actually had a good last game, I believe. Let's take a look at it. 6 innings, 3 earned runs, 10 strikeouts. I was very happy with that, especially when you consider some of the other games he has. I was happy with that. And then Francis Martez has actually been pretty good for us too recently. He goes 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 8 strikeouts here in this most recent game. That was yesterday in the game. He's been pretty good too for us recently. I'm hoping they can just get to be average at least. That's all I want from them. Anthony, he might get cut, honestly. He's probably the next guy to get cut. And then we might just have to go ahead to our prospects. I know Jack Leiter is going to be coming back from injury in about a week. We have a lot of other starting pitching prospects that I could call up as well. So we'll see about that. Next, we'll look at our lineup. There was one more move. I brought in 2 catchers, Roberto Perez, and we'll go check out who the other guy was. I forgot his name. Sandy Leon here, because we have a chemistry issue on our team. We are horrible chemistry-wise. We do have 2 guys that have like the negative sort of personality traits. We have Francis Martez is selfish. I'm not going to get him off the team just yet, so I can't do anything about that. And then Jorge Mateo, disruptive. He's been one of our most consistent guys, and he's batting leadoff for us now, so I can't really get rid of him. And then there's just not really much I can do besides bringing in more captains, which is why I brought in Roberto Perez and Sandy Leon. We're just going to rotate them up and down, I guess, or, if someone sticks, they stick. And then we'll go over real fast. As you can see, MJ Melendez here, we called him up. He's also a captain for us. We had to move a lot of things around with all these trades. Guys like MJ here, Evan White's here, Roberto with the move. We also call up, I'm not sure how to pronounce this dude's name, but I'm just going to say it's Lan Feng Jen. We're just going to call him Lan for now. We call him up. He's hitting 286 right now in 9 games. It's nothing special. He hits 9th right now when we have a DH. he's just really filling in. He's a prospect for us. I like him. He was doing good in Double A, so I was fine with calling him up. And he's been good. I'm happy with it. The other moves we've made, we moved Jorge to center field. He can play there. He's been batting leadoff for us. He's definitely bumped that average up from what it was. It was in the .09, and now it's at 211. He's been really good for us. He can steal a lot of bases too, which I like. And then DJ Peters, we call up to play left field for us, I believe, because we no longer have a left fielder without Adam Duvall. He was killing it in AAA, as you can see, 308 average, 407 on base, 5 home runs. He won Minor League Player of the Month or something like that. So I was thinking he deserved it. He hasn't been amazing for us since we called him up. It's only been 2 or 3 games, but hopefully he can bounce back and be really good for us. I know he has some home run power. He can get on base at a decent rate, so hopefully he can just be good for us for the rest of this year. And I'm really excited to see if he is. I think that's it for now. Next thing we're going to jump to is probably going to be, if we make any moves at the international free agent signing period, then I'll show you that. But probably the next thing we're going to jump to is the first-year player draft. We're going to see who we draft, who we bring in. I think we have a high pick. It should be top 3, I believe. So I'm really excited for that. I'll see you guys then. All right, here we are finally at the draft, July 11th. We have a ton of notifications and messages to go over, so let's get right into that, and then we'll get to the draft. First, we have 2 trades that I made. They're sort of smaller trades. Starting here, we trade left fielder for left fielder pretty much. We trade Mickey Moniak for Edward Olivares. Mickey Moniak, 24 years old. He has some potential still. I didn't really love him that much, and I wanted a left fielder that could really impact us right now, and that dude was Edward right here. He's doing really good this year, especially with us. Kansas City in AAA, he was killing the ball. 378 average, 411 on base, OPS plus at 147, 12 home runs. For us, at the major league level, he's been killing it too in 13 games. 347 average, 373 on base, OPS plus at 131. He's already hit a home run for us. I don't think he's going to keep it up, but right now he's really just filling the gap until the end of the year, hopefully. And if he does good the rest of the year, then he's going to have that spot next year as well. I really like him so far. So this was a big move for us. We trade a younger left fielder for an older one, so that's why I feel like Kansas City would really do this trade. And I thought it was a good trade, so I was happy with it. Next, we move on to this trade. I'm not really sure why I did this one. This one was just sort of one that I just felt I should do. I didn't really want to keep DJ Peters anymore. We brought in Edward. So I traded DJ away to the Reds here, and in return we get a starting pitching prospect / he pitched for us in 3 games so far this year. He might come back. We'll see how. We're going to give some other guys some tries in that 5th starting spot. But Riley O'Brien, he's pretty decent. His ERA is really high, but he hasn't actually been that bad. I'm thinking he's probably going to get some more starts depending on what we do at this trade deadline before the end of the year. I don't know. He's just an average piece. We can take a look at him just a little bit more in depth. He's not really anything great. I don't think he's a long-term fit or anything, but he's decent, which is why I picked him up. The main piece we got from this, though, was Jason Adam, 30-year-old relief pitcher. As you can see here for Cincinnati, 29 innings, 3.72 ERA. I thought he could be a decent piece for us, and right here, as you can see in the 4 games he's pitched for us, 4 1/3 inning, 2.08 ERA. He has a low FIP too, which is really good for me. 6 strikeouts in 4 1/3 innings. I love that. Hopefully he can be a veteran reliever for us. We need more guys like that. We just need a solid bullpen. Next, we have a couple other notifications. We have one of our minor league pitchers throwing a no-hitter, actually, Austin Cox here. He hasn't had a good year outside of that, but that's exciting, I guess. I just wanted to share that. Next, we have a trade between 2 other teams, Minnesota and Houston. Huge trade, actually. Big-time prospect, Marco Luciano, big-time third base prospect, gets traded, as well as a few other nice prospects. Look at this dude he definitely has a lot of value. Anthony Escobar, not as much, but he's still a prospect. And in return, the Twins go ahead and get Ryan Presley. I don't think I would really do that deal, especially with the season he was having this year. I don't know why they did that, but maybe he'll bounce back for them. They give up a ton, though, in that deal, so I just wanted to share you guys that. And then we have another re-signing here. We re-signed Wandy Peralta. He's been amazing for us this year. He's been our best reliever easily. We signed him to a pretty team-friendly deal. It is $2 million for next year, then a team option for both of the next 2 years, $3 million, and then $3.5. I think it's very team-friendly. Worst case scenario, we can first of all just release him if we need to. It's not that much money, and then the team option for the next 2 years really gives us control over him. He's only going to be 33 at the end of it, so I'm happy with that. And as I said, he's been the best reliever for us. When you just look at his stats, almost 14 innings, 1.98 ERA. He's been really, really good, really, really solid. He's one of those veteran relievers for us that I really like, and I've been very happy with him. And then we move on to the really exciting part that I am over the moon about. I could care less about the draft because of this one signing right here. International free agents, Jose Madrigal right here. He is, I'm pretty sure right here, we'll just skip ahead to this real fast first, the top prospect in baseball now. He is gonna be amazing. We'll take a look at first what our scouts saying. Our scouts saying he has 3.5 star potential. His offensive ratings, hopefully, if he reaches his potential, are gonna be through the roof. Defensively, he's gonna be average. He has a really good arm. Everything else is below average, but I'm fine with that. He doesn't have any good base running ratings either, but I'm fine with that as well as long as the bat's going. But then we can take a look at what OSA is saying. They're saying he's basically going to be maxed out on most of these hitting stats, which are ratings, which I'm really, really, really excited for because we could honestly use another corner infielder, third or first, especially with Josh Young. He plays third, he plays first. We really are missing one other guy there, and if this guy can turn into something special, that'd be really nice. Obviously, he's only 17, almost 18 now, so he has some time to develop, but I'm really excited with him. I think he's going to be something special, and, you know, I'm just super excited to bring in someone so high up in the top prospect list, and that actually moves us to the first in minor league system rankings, and I believe we were outside the top 6 before. We might have been 7th or 8th. So he really skyrocketed us up there. Also, Jack Leiter's 7th. Young Ho Lee is 17th, and then Josh Young 74th. I'm really, really happy with the fact that he signed with us. I was not actually expecting him to, but I'm very, very excited that he's here. Next, we move on to the voting updates for the All-Star Game. We have 3 guys on here that are in the top 3, top 5 range. Carlos Correa. He's leading, I believe, all votes right now. I know Vlad Jr. is also about 100,000 votes ahead of him, but he's really high up. He's going to be the starting shortstop. He's having a great year. Then we move on to the DH. Stanton here, he's leading, barely. Hopefully he can stay out in front. He's gotten a little bit more hot recently. He's hitting more home runs. He's at 30 already, which is really exciting, so that's good. And then we go to starting pitcher. Tyler Wells here. He's 3rd, so hopefully he'll make the All-Star team as well. I'm really excited for that. And then we have a few trades here. We're going to start with this one right here. We trade for Julian Merriweather. He's another one of those veteran relievers that I want to bring in. He had a good year with Toronto. They actually are shopping guys now, surprisingly, because I believe they have a winning record, but they're 3rd in the American League East, which is understandable for them to shop guys, especially someone like Julian Merriweather right here. He's having a good year. He's a little bit older too, and we don't really give up much. We give up a center field prospect. OSA is saying he's going to be a little bit better than what our scouts saying, but even then, he's nothing special. So I was really happy to bring him in. He hasn't pitched for us yet. As you can see, this was made today, and we actually made 2 other moves today, right before the draft, because I just wanted to get situated before we went ahead into the draft. And here is the trade we made for a few prospects. We trade away some of the guys that I think are a little too old to just sit in our minor league system, and they're not going to get called up. We trade away Andy Ibanez, Justin Anderson, who was supposed to be our setup this year, but he didn't perform, and I just don't feel comfortable putting him out there anymore. And we also give up a prospect that isn't important. And in return, we get a minor league second baseman. In my opinion, he's probably just going to sit in the minors, but I don't think his ratings are too bad, especially if you can bump up that potential maybe one day. He has good base running ability. I think he could be a utility guy maybe one day. That would be really nice, and he switch hits as well, which is exciting. So I thought maybe we'll take a flyer on him and hopefully he turns into something. The main guy I wanted was JT Brubaker. He looks like he could be something really good for us. He's 28. He's going to be the guy that gets the chance now as that 5th starter instead of the other guy. If he doesn't work out, then we'll rotate them maybe. But he looks good. He throws hard. He has good 4 pitches here. These ratings are a little bit worrying for me, but I'm excited still. We can take a look at his stats here. In 106 innings pitched in a AAA, 2.87 ERA, which is really, really good. He strikes out guys at a really good rate. In 3 and 1/3 innings for Pittsburgh this year, he has a good ERA. Obviously, it's only 3 innings, so it's not that much that we can really take that. But I just thought this was a good trade. Not really, doesn't move the needle or anything, but it just gets us, younger, hopefully more potential, which is what I'm looking to get. And then lastly, we have probably the most interesting trade of this little notification message segment thing here. We trade for Anthony Rizzo, we give up Evan White, and we also get $3.5 million in cash. Now this trade is a little interesting because we just got Evan White, and we really just brought him in, honestly, to play first base for now, but I just didn't like what he brought, and he wasn't bringing anything to the table, but he wasn't really that bad of a player either. I just wanted someone a little bit different. Anthony Rizzo, he's not going to be a huge offensive player for us. That's not why we brought him in. We brought him in because he has leadership ability, and I think he's a captain to this team, which is a big reason I brought him in. As you can see here, we got this notification saying that our clubhouse, obviously, we have bad team chemistry. Hopefully, that's why we're bringing him in to fix this. He's a lefty bat as well, which I like, and hopefully he can bounce back just a little bit. He hasn't been good with Colorado this year. Hopefully he can be just a little bit better with us. I think he's going to bring exactly what Evan White brought, which is the main reason I was fine with it. And we get a little bit of cash, which is also always a good thing. But that's going to be it for the notifications. We're going to go straight to the draft now, and I'll see you guys there. All right, here we are at the draft. As you can see, we have the 3rd pick. I've already simulated to our pick right now. As you can see here, Elijah Green, Tamar Johnson go 1 and 2. So there was really only 3 guys I wanted. They were 2 of them. The other guy was Drew Jones. I think he's probably who I'm going to take here. He's just a really good prospect in my opinion. He's a center fielder, which is, definitely a position we need help with. Right now we have Jorge Mateo right now. He can play there, but I'd rather him be probably at second base. Maybe he can be moved around as well. We have a lot of guys all over the place, but if he can play really, really good defense in that outfield and have a good bat, that'd be perfect. I also know that he's going to have a lot of value if we ever need to trade him, which is what I like. And he's the highest potential according to our scout, and I'm pretty sure according to OSA, he's also really, really, he has really, really high potential, which I like. So we're going to go ahead and take him with our 1st round pick, and I'm just going to go ahead and off-screen draft the rest of our guys, and then I'll recap with you guys, so I'll see you guys then. All right, here we are after the draft. Here are all our draft picks. We didn't have a 3rd round pick this year because of the Carlos Correa signing, I believe. We lost that, but we do have all of our other guys here, starting with Drew Jones. He's our top pick, 3rd overall. Hopefully he's the superstar of the future in center field for us. I think he definitely could be. He has a decent bat potential. OSA is saying he's going to be even better than our scouts saying, so hopefully OSA is right. But I still think even if he lives up to the scouts' potential, he's still going to be a really good center fielder, especially on the defensive side of the ball. He has good speed. He's going to run the bases good. Hopefully he's going to hit some home runs. I really, really am excited for him. Next, we have R.J. Austin. He was our 2nd round pick. I was less excited for him, but he was the best player available, in my opinion, at the time. I'm not really in love with him, but he's a shortstop prospect. He's 18. With most of these, OSA is saying he's better. If he lives up to OSA's potential, then I'm definitely in love with him as a prospect, but our scouts saying the contact's not going to quite be there. He's just going to be a well-rounded bat, decent on defense, decent on the base paths. Speed's going to be really high, hopefully. That's something that really you don't develop, you just have, which is good that that's going to be where it's at. But he's 18. That's the main reason why I drafted him. He's a shortstop prospect. It's always good to have those. So I was fine with drafting him in that 2nd round. Obviously, we don't have our 3rd round. Then we drafted 2 similar prospects. They're both starting pitching prospects, and they both throw really hard, which is the main thing I was looking for. 96 to 98 already. He's 21, basically 22 at this point. I'm hoping he can just develop and hopefully be a back end of the starting rotation for us. If not, an emergency starting pitcher if we ever need that. At worst, that's what these guys are going to be. This guy I'm a little bit higher on. His stamina is not quite what I'd like it to be as a starter. He is already 22, almost 23. He throws a little harder, but he has more pitches, which I like. I like our starter to have a lot of pitches. His stuff's going to be a little higher too, I think. His movement and control are a little worrying for me. OSA is saying very similar stuff. They're saying his stuff's actually going to be higher and his slider's going to be way higher, which is exciting. I hope he can just turn into the same thing I said about the other guy. I'd be happy if both of them just make occasional starts. I didn't really draft them to be future superstars for us or anything. That's mainly what these top 2 picks are, mainly just Drew Jones, honestly, that I expect to be really good for us. There are some guys that I like more later on. We draft Cameron. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his last name, but I mainly just drafted him to be a guy in the minor league system for us as a catcher, to be a captain, hopefully. It says other players look up to him, so hopefully that's what he can be. He has good catcher ability and a good catcher arm. So hopefully on defense he can be good. Even if he sits in single A for the rest of his career, at least he's helping in some way, which is the main reason I drafted him. Next we have Caleb Applebay. He's another one of these guys, sort of. He throws somewhat hard. He's only 19, which I like. He has, 3 pitches here. They're all going to be above average or average, which I like. He's going to be average in the stuff, movement, and control ratings. He already has the stamina I like. And OSA is saying he's going to be better than what our head scout's saying, which is what I always look for. He's not really anything special, but hopefully he can turn into something. Hopefully he can develop into something. Then we have Evan Blanco, very similar, 18 years old, almost 19. I'm not even going to go too in-depth with him. He's very similar. JoJo Booker here, I think he could be Major League ready probably the soonest of anybody, just because, well, first of all, OSA is saying he's going to be way better than our head scout's saying, but he already has pretty good ratings across the pitching side. They can go up a little bit, obviously. He's only 23, almost 24 in a little bit. He doesn't throw super hard or anything, but I was somewhat excited when I drafted him. Hopefully he can be more than just a minor league guy. That'd be very, very exciting if that's the case. Then we have Brandon Neek, I guess. He has decent pitches as well. Another one of those guys I just drafted. Don't really love him or anything. A lot of these guys I don't love. I just draft them because I can see somewhat of a potential in them. Then we move on to our 11th overall pick, or 11th round pick. Ethan Frey, our scout, kept recommending him, so I just drafted him for our scout. I don't really see anything in him, but maybe he'll turn into something. We'll see. I'm not going to focus too heavy on him. Then we have the last pick I made before I just simulated the rest of it. We have Kevin Graham. He's just a first base prospect. I think he could be a decent bat. He's already 22, almost 23. He's going to have that home run power to start off pretty much. And as I said earlier, we can definitely use a first baseman in the major league system. So hopefully he can get there sooner rather than later and really help us. I'm not sure how likely that is, but hopefully. And then we just have some guys down here. None of them were too impressive to me. But, we have some new guys now. We only had to negotiate with 4 guys. And I think they're all going to sign with us, hopefully. If they don't, I really just want Drew Jones to sign. If the rest of the guys don't sign, I really couldn't care that much. It says signability extremely hard, but I'm giving them exactly what their demands are, so hopefully they're happy with that. We're going to move on now to the trade deadline, and that's where we're going to end the video, so I'll see you guys there. Alright, here we are on trade deadline day, July 31st. We have a ton of notifications to go over here, and I wanted to go over some trade ideas and dilemmas that we're in right now, but first we're going to look at the notifications. We're first going to go over all of the prospects that we signed in the draft. We got Drew Jones signing, RJ Austin signing, our 2 pitching prospects, whose names I'm not even going to try to say. They signed Miguel and Mason, and I think there was just them 4, so we're going to move on next to contract extension. We extend Sandy Leon to next year, I believe. We can take a look at the contract, but I believe it's another one of those team option type of contracts. Yeah, it's a 2-year deal with the second year being a team option for $1.5 million. He was a really good veteran presence for us, especially at the beginning of when we signed him. He was amazing on offense. He switch hits. He's a captain for this team. I think he's going to be really good. He's even a good defensive catcher, which is what I like. At worst, he's going to be the second option for us, which is what I like, especially with him being a switch-hitting catcher, which really just helps the versatility even more. So I'm happy that we extended him, and he's going to at least be with us for next year. That's super exciting. Then we have a bunch of the All-Star break notifications here, starting with voting. I just want to go over the voting screen here. Carlos Correa gets the most votes of all of the American League, which is really exciting. He's having an amazing year, so he definitely deserves that. Then we move on to the All-Star roster itself. We have 3 guys. We have starting pitching, we have Tyler Wells, Then we have Carlos Correa, obviously, and then we have a DH, Giancarlo Stanton. Those are the three guys we have in there. No one else makes it. I think they were definitely the ones that deserve it. Tyler Wells with us hasn't been as great as he was with his past team, Baltimore, but he definitely still deserves it just for the first team he played for. And he definitely was good for us. It's just the last 2 games has fallen off. But we'll go over that later. So I'm super happy with them. Then we have the prospect game. I believe we have 2 guys here. We have Encarnacion at right field for us. He's currently in AAA too, so that's exciting that he's being called into this game. And then we have Maximo Acosta. He's also in this. I don't think anybody else made it from our system. Yeah, it's just those 2 guys. But then we can actually go here and we see Encarnacion actually wins MVP of the prospect game, which is really exciting. He's been pretty good, I think, in the minors. I think AAA he might have fallen off a little bit. We'll take a look real fast. Yeah, AAA, he hasn't been as good as he was in AA, but I think he's going to definitely come around. He has really good offensive ratings right here, and he has some potential still, so hopefully one day he can be on the major league level for us. But for now, we're going to keep him in AAA and just be excited for what he did in this prospect game. Then we have the result of the All-Star game. Our guys didn't really do that great. We can go to the box score real fast. I don't even think Tyler Wells pitched. Yeah, he didn't pitch for the American League, which is interesting, but that's that. And then you can see here we have Stanton's numbers, and then we also have, where is he at? Where is Carlos Correa? There he is. Carlos Correa's numbers right here. They didn't really do that great. No RBIs, no home runs, I don't think, so nothing really to report there. But at least they were in the game. That's the exciting part. Then we have a big extension right here. Aaron Judge extends a 6-year, $162 million deal. We can take a look at what that means per year. It's roughly $26 million a year. That's huge for both sides. Not really surprising, though. He's having a really good year, too. Yeah, 316 average, 14 home runs, 42 RBIs. Really good year. Then we have unfortunate news. A guy that most of you probably forgot was on the team, Andrew Benintendi. They're not sure when he's going to recover. We still don't know as of right now when he's going to be back. I moved him to the 60-day DL, I'm pretty sure, because I'm just giving up on him. We're probably not going to bring him back after this year if his contract's a team option yet. So, yeah, next year's a team option, so we're probably not going to bring him back. We're probably going to move in a different direction. We'll see, though. Next, we have some interesting news. Early in the episode, we traded Miguel Sano. Now, they are also thinking about trading Miguel Sano, which is interesting. I guess he's just not working out where he's going. So that's just some news there. Then we have 2 trades I've made so far. Starting here, we trade away a prospect. He doesn't look bad, actually. He's probably the best prospect I've traded away so far, maybe. OSA saying 2.5-star potential. He's going to have some good pitches, honestly. The pitching ratings aren't going to be super high. His control is going to be good. Our head scout's saying he's going to be a little worse than that, but he's still better than most of the other guys that we trade away. And in return, we get Diego Castillo. We actually made this trade today, July 31st, in the game. I really just brought him in. He's having a bad year for Seattle. They're not performing great, and I think he only has 1 year after this year left of arbitration. So I thought it was a decent deal. His FIP, though, 4.2. So clearly he's underperforming this year. I hope that he can be better for us because we need a legit closer for this team. That's one thing I want to bring in the offseason is an elite closer. I don't think he's really going to be elite, but he's going to be good for us for the rest of the year and hopefully solve a little bit of a dilemma that I have. But first, we'll go over this last trade. We made a huge trade in numbers at least. Maybe not quality of players, but quantity. We give up a lot of guys for our prospect, mainly just because we had an abundance of relief arms and pitching in general. So we decided to get rid of Jason Adam, who we just traded for, and he's been awful for us. He's only pitched 8 innings, but every single time he goes out there, it's really shaky. He's just not performing good. Colby Allard, there's just not room for him. I've picked other guys to be the starter over him multiple times for our team. I just don't think he has a spot with us, so I sent him to the Angels. And then we also have Jacob. I don't know how to pronounce the last name, but he was actually not bad. He had 1 bad inning, I believe, when we first called him up, and then he performed good in the next 3 1/3 innings, I think. And in AAA, as you can see, 2.08 ERA, AA 1.74. He's performed well. I think his contract expires at the end of this year, and I don't want to bring him back on a major league contract. I just don't see the worth in that, really, when we can bring him way better guys, and I'd rather just give him up now in order to get a prospect. We also gave up Joe Barlow. He sat in AAA ever since we sent him down, and he just hasn't performed good. Even in AAA, 4.26 ERA in 6 1/3 innings. Like last year, he was good. We made him our closer, but this year he just has not been even close to what we wanted him to be. And I just think there's better guys we can go with. So I just traded him away because I think we have way better prospects coming up, first of all, and just guys in general that can pitch better than him this year. So we get rid of him, and then probably one of the only prospects we give up in this trade. I don't think anybody else you can really consider a prospect unless you consider Colby Allard a prospect. We go Yuri Rodriguez. He was a little hard to get rid of, but we needed to get rid of one of our starting pitching prospects. He's 24, almost 25 now. We pitched him in a few games. I think 2 games. Yeah, 2 games for our team this year. He didn't perform good. AAA, he was fine. Not really what I would expect him to be, but he was fine. He struck out a decent amount of batters. But he was just fine. I didn't see him being anything special. And then the guy we get is Luke Murphy, as well as $3 million in cash. But Luke Murphy here, he looks like he's going to be really good. If that movement and control can be what it says it's going to be in that stuff, maybe if that could ever get to 70, that would be amazing. And then these pitches are all just going to be really good. He's just going to be a well-rounded guy with good stuff. That is exactly what we need. And OSA is saying he's going to be better than our head scout. If OSA is right, then he's going to be an amazing relief guy for us. He might even be a closer eventually. We'll see. I really like him. I hope he can develop into what we need. He's only 22, so I'm super excited about this. And honestly, I'd rather have the prospect than all of these guys just sitting in AAA, sitting in AA, just wasting away when we really don't need them at the moment. But I was happy with that, so that's going to be it for the notifications. Next, I want to get into a little bit of a dilemma that I have that I'm not really sure what to do. Seth Lugo here. He's moved into that closer role. He's been really good for us. He's having a good year, 3.58 ERA with the Mets, who was 1.88 ERA in 14 innings. He's been really good, especially in this closer role for us. He's been good. But his contract's up at the end of the year, and if we go to offer a contract extension, he doesn't want to negotiate anymore. I guess we offered him one earlier in the year, and it just wasn't good enough. But I really don't want to get rid of him, even though he might just walk for nothing at the end of the year. I mean, I could see if he wants to negotiate when the off season's here, but then we also might lose him when he definitely has value, and there's no reason to keep him. We're not going to win this year, so if we just trade him away, we can at least get some value. I'm not really sure what to do with that yet. Right now, I'm leaning towards keep him and hope to re-sign him, but we'll definitely see. We still have, some decisions to make. And then, just in general, guys with contracts expiring that I really want to, look over. Anthony Rizzo, I don't think we're going to bring back just yet on an extension. He's been really good for us, though, in those 14 games for us. 319 average, 4 home runs already. That's incredible for what I thought he was going to bring in. But I just don't think I'm going to offer him an extension just yet. IKF, I don't know what I'm going to do with him. I really like him, but he wants $8 million per year over like 4 years, and I just don't think he's worth it, especially when we have guys in all the positions he plays already. Maybe as a catcher he could maybe be a starter for us, but even then I think he's probably just going to walk. I don't really want to trade him yet either, just in case we have injuries. I do like him as a player, and he is fun to have on this team, but I just don't think he's going to be re-signed for that much money. And then if we move down here, not too many other guys. Rodolfo Duran, his contract's about to expire, and he actually looks like he's a decent prospect, so I'm thinking about trading him away. He's having a really good year in AAA, 42 games, 312 average, 347 on base, only 3 home runs, but regardless, he's getting on base at a good rate. His OPS plus is 109. He's someone I'm definitely thinking about trading away to someone who might value him. Same with Jonah Heim. He has some potential still. He might just stay, and we might just let him go at the end of the year. And then lastly, one guy I'm still thinking about bringing back is Roberto Perez. I'm not sure what type of contract to bring him in on, but he's a captain. Worst case, I want him in AAA for us to be a captain down there and sometimes get Major League playing time in the majors. That'd be really nice. But I'm not really sure how to bring him back yet. There's still a lot to go over. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut here and figure out what I'm going to do with everybody, and then I'll be back whenever I figure out what I'm going to do. Alright, here we are after we decided what we're going to do with our expiring contracts, and we do decide to make 2 trades here. One, starting with Seth Lugo, we trade him away, as well as another prospect. He's not very good. They moved him to starting pitching, and his potential went up, but I still don't think he's going to be anything fantastic. 24 already, so I was fine with getting rid of him. And in return, we get Brandon Lockridge, who he's having an amazing year in AAA. He's 25. I think he definitely has some potential. His base running is amazing. His defense is going to be above average probably. And his gap power and eye are above average, which I like from the offensive side of the ball. And he's going to have, 45, 45, and 45 for the other 3 remaining ratings here. So I was really excited to bring him in. He's performing really, really well in AAA. Hopefully that translates to the majors when we do call him up eventually. For now, he's going to sit in AAA and hopefully have some good at-bats for us down there. Maybe he'll get the call-up. We do have a lot of center fielders that are younger going from AAA to the majors right now. We're rotating them in and getting them some playing time. But I really like this trade. I think it's good value, especially when you also include the $2.5 million in cash. So far this year, we've just been racking up the cash, hopefully to help us this offseason. And I don't think he was going to re-sign with us, and I didn't want to waste his value there. So we bring in another guy that could potentially help us, hopefully even next year. I think he definitely has potential to be on our team next year. Move on next to a huge trade with the Atlanta Braves. We trade for Johan Camargo and Drew Waters. We give up Rodolfo, Isaiah, Yoni Hernandez, and Jason Martin. Jason and Yoni are definitely just throw-ins to get the deal done. We could have gotten the deal done probably without them, but they're on expiring contracts. I didn't want to bring them back, so I just threw them in to get the deal done here. The main pieces are Isaiah and Rodolfo. He's a big-time prospect. Drew Waters is a big-time prospect. They are sort of go 1-for-1. Probably not in reality, but the other 2 guys that we give up hopefully even that out a little bit. And then I think Isaiah for Johan is definitely pretty straightforward trade. 28 years old, Johan, 27, Isaiah. Johan, he really is more versatile outside of the catching position. He can basically play every position, maybe center field too he can't play. But Isaiah can play almost anywhere. He can play anywhere in the infield. He can even play catcher a little bit. I'm sure if you move him to the outfield, he can play the outfield too. So both are versatile players. I wanted to bring another versatile guy in that can, fill in the role more permanently than Isaiah. I wasn't going to bring him back. Johan, I think he still has arbitration available, so we're definitely going to bring him back next year. And then Drew Waters is a huge prospect in AAA or in AA this year. He's batting .365, .444 on base, 17 home runs, 71 RBIs in 95 games. He's crushing the ball. He's playing amazing in AA. He still has some time to develop too. He's only 23, which I like. Hopefully in 2 years from now he can, he's another one of those center fielders that we want to get some playing time potentially this year even, just to see where we're at. We have so many center field prospects now. We only have one center field position, so that's going to be interesting. We do still have left field available for us as an open position, so these guys can play there. I mean, we can also move them to left field and develop them like that. We'll see how that goes. But that's going to do it for this episode. We made those trades. This is the trade deadline. Probably next episode, we might even just skip straight to the offseason. We'll see, because we are, currently 30 or whatever games under 500. We're not doing good. We're not going to be in the playoffs, unfortunately. I'm really happy with where our team's at, though, right now. We have a lot of solid pieces. I don't think we need to make too many more changes before the end of the year. I'm really happy with our guys. We have a lot of guys that are performing well for us, or they're just, exciting pieces. I'm really excited to get into the offseason, hopefully build an actual winner. I thought we were going to be a winner this year, but we weren't. So hopefully these moves help us be more exciting for the rest of the year. And I'll see you guys next episode. Thank you guys for watching. You can leave a like. You can comment any suggestions of what we should do in the offseason, because that's going to be next episode. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.